We're back. So, y'all, I'm gonna let you know today's lesson. I really just hope that you get into this and like look into this stuff on your own and because you're actually interested. Because this story, not even just like as a teacher, when I was in college, this story was the one of the wildest things that I've ever heard about Africa and African nationalism. And I really, really hope you get into this today. Not just because you need a grade, but because this story is wild and tells you about the nature of this world, especially at a time like this that we're living through. So let's jump into it. Students will be able to compose a call to action that discusses the significance of African decolonization movements and analyze change over time. So, you are going to make a social media post similar to what we've done before. We used Canva and did our call to action during our imperialism unit. And you will be able to draw context from that imperialism unit. So please draw upon it. So let's go. One, the right now you will be opening up a textbook about the conflict that led up to the assassination of Patrice Lumumba of the Congo. Two, you will do a context recap of the same historical event about the assassination of Patrice Lumumba, and this video will tell the story in a different way. And then three, you are going to take the differences between what that textbook said and what that video said, and you are going to make a social media post that is a call to action to look into what is going on in current events in Africa today. And we're going to learn a new term called neo-colonialism. And then we are going to close out and reflect on what we learned. So let's get it started because I'm so ready. All right, so we're going to look into this textbook entry. Now, I'm going to read through this. There's a practice I want you to try out while I read through this. I'm going to pause and I want you to say the words that I pause on out loud. So let's try it out really quick, just so you get it. The death of Lumumba. So, like, again, the death of Lumumba. So, I'm going to read through this in the same fashion. If you feel like just saying the word in your head or saying it out loud, I recommend saying it out loud just so you can read along. So, like the Portuguese, the Belgians had never really considered preparing Africans in the huge for self-government, much less for independence. As a nationalist movement emerged from World War II, however, the Belgian government agreed that it should prepare the colony for self-government. Believing that and so y'all know you pronounce it Congolese, Congolese. So let's try that one more time. Believing that the had not developed the institutions or acquired the experience needed to a modern state. Belgians supported a 30-year timetable to prepare them for independence. Distrusting the Belgians, African nationalists demanded self-government. Consequently, in 1960, Belgium subtly announced that it would withdraw within a year. With little preparation, many political parties represented different ethnic groups, geographical regions, and political beliefs participated in the first elections ever held in the new Republic of the Former postal clerk Patrice Lumumba became prime minister, while his rival and political enemy, Joseph Kasavubu, became president. Lumumba remained opposed to European influence. Angered by his stance, technicians and experts left the Congo in droves. This proved to be a major blow to the new country's. Soon the army mutinied and copper-rich province of Katanga seceded. That means separated. The country was plunged into a crisis. An assassin killed Lumumba in 1961 and Kasavubu assumed full power. The chaos and violence continued. So, take the moment to answer these two questions. How did the document describe Lumumba's death? What were the reasons or the causes, maybe, that it described for his death? And then, two, are there any questions you have left about Lumumba's death? Pause the video here and take down your noticings. All right, so this is a video that is going to explain the same situation, but in a lot more depth. I highly recommend just watching the video through just to like listen to it and hear it. And if you want to take down some detailed notes, watch it again the second time. It is very, very interesting. I'm just going to say some things inside of this video that it exposes. Africa, specifically the Congo's connection to the dropping and the creation of the nuclear bomb. It's going to talk about Patrice Lumumba's assassination and the involvement or the accused involvement of Belgium and the United States. And it's going to talk about the way that this whole entire situation was manipulated by those two countries within ethnic groups in Africa. So I highly recommend you just watch this for your own interest. This is some really, really interesting stuff. Go ahead and pause the video and press play on this. If you are also interested in any other documents or readings about Patrice Lumumba, he's a very, very fascinating man. And if you're interested, here are some more links that you can also see. Also, you can use the text from these links to answer your in your social media activism posts. So please make sure you keep this information handy so you could do your culminating task. So let's just think about these two videos and this textbook reading, this one video and this textbook reading. What provides more detail? I think that's a bit obvious, right? And then two, what do you think the textbook left out, especially when it comes to the role of the United States? Take some notes down about this as you kind of formulate what you want your social media post to be about, because that's what's graded. Let's introduce you to this new term, neo-colonialism. Now, I'll let you read this for yourself. I highly recommend pausing and reading for yourself, but I'll give y'all an example. Have any of you ever been to a country that's out of the United States, considered a poor country, or considered quote unquote a third world country? I know a lot of us have been to like DR. I've been to Mexico. Have you ever felt in certain places in this country that it's mostly influenced by another country's culture? Have you ever been to DR and felt like you were in the United States still? Have you ever been to Jamaica and felt like you were on a resort and still in kind of like a US type culture? Neocolonialism is the way that old imperial and colonial powers keep cultural influence over a country, which inherently relates to their economic influence, because most of the tourists coming that are bringing the economy to these countries are from that other culture or that colonial nation. So they have an inherent influence. That is Mr. White's interpretation. Please read the definition specifically for yourself to get a different understanding. So, like we've been saying this whole video, you will be making a social media post. Your role is that you are an activist. You are someone who is trying to do something about neo-colonialism. You're trying to do something about these imperial and colonial nations still having economic influence over these other countries that theoretically should be liberated and have independence. Who is your audience? Your audience are other activists and people you want to reach in the media. It could also be your peers. You can use Canva. You can use Instapost, which is linked in the slides. You can also use this other website that I cannot pronounce to make your social media post. But you are using evidence in order to back up your claims. So you can't just say, hey, y'all, neocolonialism is happening in the Congo still. You need to say how Why? Give substantial evidence. You can use any of the readings and the videos that we used in this lesson today. You could use your source pack. You could use the key terms. You should use the key terms from page 2 on your source pack and those extra links that were provided after we discussed Patrice Lumumba. Now, let's just go back and take a look at what we've learned today. So, today we learned about Patrice Lumumba. We learned about how he was elected as the prime minister of the Congo and how he was more anti-European influence. And because of that, there was a major campaign or involvement from Belgium and the US government to remove this man from power. He was eventually assassinated and was succeeded by more US and Belgian friendly leader that would deal with their economic interests. If you, again, have more interest in Patrice Lumumba, please look at all of the links provided. Please go back and watch that video again. This is a fascinating man and a fascinating lesson to learn about the world that we live in today. You all have a good day. Take care.